Soca and the Mermaid. In a bustling city, a young man named Soca was given a great gift. After 7 years of loyal service, his master settled him with a clothing shop filled to the brim with the finest male fashions. Soca felt he had truly arrived. He started spending his new wealth on lavish parties and a crowd of new friends and baddies who always seemed to be around. The parties grew bigger, and the spending grew faster. Soca was so busy enjoying his newfound status that he didn't notice the business was failing. Soon, the money ran out, and the parties stopped. The people who had once clustered around him, introducing new girls and accepting his lavish gifts, were nowhere to be found. Soca was left with nothing. He could barely afford to eat, and he had to move into a small, simple hut. He felt stupid and alone, realizing his mistakes had cost him everything. There was no one to turn to, not a single friend from his former life. One faithful day, lost in thought and lamenting his needs, he decided to go to a nearby river. He sat by the water, regretting his mistakes and wondering how he had fallen so far. As he sat there, a beautiful mermaid, a Mamie Water, appeared right in front of him. She rose from the water, her gaze steady and powerful. "Request anything from me," she said, "and I will do it for you, but on one condition: you will serve me for the rest of your life." Soca, desperate and without a second thought, agreed. He listed his desires. His business must bounce back and expand into different branches, and this time he wanted endless wealth. The mermaid agreed and granted his wish. Within a few weeks, Soca became the talk of the town again. His brand, Soca Clothing, now had branches across the city and was a resounding success. He bought a house in the heart of the bustling city and a fleet of cars. The baddies and frenemies returned, but he had learned his lesson and avoided them completely. It was now time for him to get married. He ignored all the women who flaunted themselves around him, and instead he chose a village teacher named Agnes. She was a staunch believer in God, and Soca supported her fully. With Soca's support, Agnes opened her own school, which she named Agnes Academy, and managed it as the proprietress. She introduced Soca to her Christian lifestyle, and they began to go to church together on Sundays. Soca started to drift away from serving the river and the mermaid. He could no longer multitask by serving 2 masters at a time. The mermaid, having waited for months, became jealous. She decided to take back all that she had given him. For the second time, Soca fell from his high pedestal. The mermaid took every single thing he had gained, and he became a pauper again. "Oh, how have the mighty fallen," people whispered. Fortunately, the only thing that was left was the school his wife had set up in her own name. Soca confessed his predicament to Agnes. As a supportive wife, she took up the family management and arranged for her pastor to help. Soca was delivered from the situation he found himself in. They lived happily ever after as one big family, built on faith and love.